The movie is set in South Africa, where the crime rate is at an all-time high. Gangsters run rampant throughout the cities, and the police force alone is not enough to subdue them. In these dangerous times, a certain weapons manufacturing company took the RoboCop movies a little too seriously and introduced a squadron of high-tech AI robots to combat the criminal organizations and help the police maintain peace. The development of these robots is led by a young scientist called Dion. While Dion is basking in the glory of his successful project, another project within the same company is facing continuous budget cuts. This project is for remote-controlled robots developed by Vincent. He is wholly against AI, as he believes that it is far safer and sufficient to use remote-controlled robots, but the harsh reality is that his belief is not very popular. Neither are drones, apparently. As the police are now aided by the AI robots, the criminal organizations are currently facing a huge crisis. It is the same for Ninja and the members of his small gang, too. Due to a failure of their latest mission, they must face the wrath of their boss. The boss is ruthless and refuses to hear any excuses. He unhesitatingly kills Ninja's gang member and demands that the rest of them must return the money that they owe him for failing the job. He gives them 7 days to get the money, or else he would kill the rest of them as well. In some other place, Dion finally cracks the code to make the first proper AI, which could think and feel like a human being. With barely contained excitement, he rushes to the office the very next morning. He explains his groundbreaking invention to the CEO of the company, but she is unwilling to let him test out the new AI. Dion understands that the company has to go through many hassles of legalities and paperwork and government approval for his new project, so he bypasses all of that and resorts to theft instead. He takes a damaged police robot before it is destroyed, along with the guard key that is needed to update the robot's software. But on his way home, he is kidnapped by Ninja and his gang members who are desperate to get their hands on the robot's remote control in order to extort money. But unfortunately, there is no remote control for these robots. The gang members do not believe Dion at first, but when he does not change his words even after being threatened with a gun, they have no choice but to accept the truth. However, with the threat of his life, Dion reveals that he could install his new AI program on the damaged robot he stole. The gang members agree to let him fix up the robot with the new program as they believe that they can make it work for them. But when Dion succeeds, the robot starts behaving like a child. Moreover, its battery is badly damaged and will only last for 5 more days. The gangsters are displeased, especially Ninja, but Dion is overjoyed by the successful deployment of his new AI system, even if the circumstances involved his kidnapping and threatening. Dion, with the help of Ninja's girlfriend, Yolandi, slowly coaxes the childlike robot out, and she lovingly names it Chappie. But this delicate robot is not what the gangsters need right now, as it is entirely useless in helping them rob money. Furious, Ninja chases Dion out of their hideout, but Dion promises to come back to orient Chappie as he cannot leave his greatest invention alone. Back at the company, Vincent sneaks into the workshop at night to steal the guard key for himself, only to find that it is missing. He has a raging suspicion that it is Dion who stole it. So the next day, when Dion gets off work, he secretly tails his van, which leads him to an abandoned building. This building is used as a hideout by Ninja and the others. They are surprised to see that he has the guts to come back after all that happened. Dion brings out many books and toys used for children's enrichment and leads Chappie out to teach him how to paint. Vincent, who has been spying on them, witnesses this scene and he is left speechless. Yet his cunning mind also sees this as an opportunity to steal the guard key installed on Chappie, but he retreats for now. As Vincent drives away, Ninja drives in, and he is not the one to hide his displeasure at Chappie, who is painting peacefully. Yolandi shields Chappie like a mother, but Ninja grows impatient with his development and wants him to quickly adopt the criminal mindset and help him with the heist. With the deadline of the debt looming over his head, Ninja takes an extreme approach to toughen him up and abandons Chappie in the middle of a dangerous neighborhood to fend for himself. Due to being a former police robot, Chappie is shown no mercy by the thugs around him as they hit him with stones and even light him on fire. Scared and helpless, he only just manages to escape from the neighborhood when he is captured by Vincent. Vincent is very violent with Chappie, enough that it leaves him traumatized. After snatching away the guard key from Chappie's CPU, Chappie escapes, and Vincent does not bother to chase him as he believes that the robot is already badly damaged. Chappie slowly stumbles back home, where Yolandi cleans him up and replaces his lost limb. Meanwhile, she is enraged at Ninja, who probably won't be using his love limb anytime soon. Thankfully, it does not take too much effort until Chappie is up and running as usual. In order to win back Chappie's trust and earn his forgiveness, Ninja teaches him some cool moves using knives and other weapons. Chappie refuses to use a gun to kill people or do any crimes at first, but Ninja easily deceives him into agreeing by making up some lies. After teaching him how to act and talk like a gangster, Ninja takes him to rob cars so that they could sell them secondhand. Chappie proves to be very efficient in this job, which leaves Ninja very satisfied. Now that they have the money from a few stolen cars, they use it to buy explosives. With all the preparations for the final money heist done, they just now have to convince Chappie to help them. Ninja mixes a lie with some truths and says to Chappie that Dion put him inside a faulty robot, which will soon die in a few days, but the heist will earn them enough money to get a new body for him. Hearing that Ninja is doing all this for his sake, Chappie is moved and finally agrees to help them in the money heist. At the same time, Dion thinks it is too unsafe to let Chappie stay with the gangsters and goes back to their hideout to retrieve him. But he is utterly shocked to see that Chappie has changed so much that he is almost unrecognizable. He also seems to hate Dion for putting him in a dying body. As Dion is trying to explain himself, Chappie suddenly malfunctions and shuts down on the spot. Panicked, Dion hastily loads him into his van and drives to his company's workshop. Inside the workshop, Vincent is already present and is working on something wicked. To make sure that only his own robots are deployed and accepted by the police, he uses the guard key to upload a virus to all the robot AIs. The virus sabotages and then disables all of them, including Chappie, quickly descending the city into chaos. When the gangsters catch wind that the robot AIs are dying out, they jump out of their hiding places and try to regain control of the city. Vincent watches the grim news with unrestrained joy. But before the virus completes its installation, he hears the door to the workshop open, so he quickly hides himself. The one who enters is Dion, who is dragging along Chappie's unresponsive body. He quickly hooks the robot into a computer and starts debugging. He also finds something peculiar on the computer. It is the virus that Vincent was installing. Without fully knowing what it is, Dion quarantines the program and the installation ends without reaching 100%. After being restarted, Chappie is back in full health. Dion is anxious to escape the workshop, but Chappie insists on looking around. He finds a neural helmet that is used to control Vincent's remote control robot and gets an idea. He could tweak the helmet and use it to copy his consciousness into another body. Dion is sure that it won't work and does not want to give Chappie false hope. However, Chappie is determined. He brings the helmet to the hideout and tries to re-engineer it. With the help of Yolandi as his test subject, he finally manages to figure out how to transfer his consciousness into a computer so he can change bodies after his current one dies. Now all that's left is to get a new body for himself, so for that, he accompanies Ninja and his gang for the biggest robbery of their lives. They intercept an armored vehicle transporting cash from the bank, and with the help of Chappie, they successfully hijack and take away the van. Back at Dion's company, everything is in disarray. The sudden failure of robot AIs has put a lot of pressure on the company, especially on Dion, who is in charge of the project. After a thorough investigation, he finds that the virus responsible for the mayhem is the same one that he had disabled last night. He accurately guesses that it is Vincent's handiwork, but before he could report it to his superiors, his eyes fall on the TV. Chappie's act of robbery is caught on the news, so Dion dashes out of the office to go to the workshop. He steals the guns and ammunition from the restricted area and drives away to save Chappie because he is sure to be pursued by the police. Vincent, on the other hand, takes advantage of Dion's departure and successfully pins the blame of the robot AI failures on him. The CEO has no choice but to let Vincent launch his own remote robot in order to destroy Chappie because she does not want Dion's actions to implicate the entire company. Seeing that everything is going according to his plans, Vincent excitedly puts on the neural helmet and immediately operates his robot machine. At the same time, Ninja's boss also sees Chappie on the news and desires the robot for himself. By the time Dion reaches the hideout, Chappie and the others have also just arrived. He quickly tries to equip them with the guns that he has brought, but before he could explain any further, the boss of the gang arrives on the scene. Since the boss has no intentions of letting them live, Ninja and his friends also take up arms, and a violent shootout begins between the two groups, where almost nobody seems to hit anything until they start taking cover. Suddenly, in the middle of the confrontation, Vincent's giant robot joins the fray, intimidating everyone. Since the police robot is an opponent of everyone present, the two groups of gangsters join hands for the moment and begin fighting against the common enemy. But the robot is robust and armed with multiple kinds of bombs, so their guns are almost useless against it. While trying to escape, Dion gets shot in the stomach by the gang boss, but he is quickly dealt with by Ninja. Chappie carries the heavily injured Dion inside a van and tries to escape the place along with Ninja and Yolandi. All the while, the police robot is hot on their tails and is only getting closer by the second. Realizing that all of them are about to be killed, Ninja decides to distract the robot to allow the rest of them to escape, but Yolandi cannot bear to let him sacrifice himself. Just as the robot is about to kill him, she steps out of the van and shoots at the robot. However, the damage done to it is minimal, probably because she used her forehead and not her eyes to aim down the sights, but it buys a moment of time which saves Ninja's life. But unfortunately, this costs her own life when the robot fires at her instead, and she is shot dead on the spot. As the robot moves to aim at Chappie and Dion, Chappie protects him from the rain of bullets and manages to get a hold of the detonator for the explosives that he previously planted on the police robot. With a click of a button, Vincent's seemingly invincible robot gets blasted into pieces, but even so, it is no time for celebration. Ninja cradles Yolandi's dead body and cries out in grief, whereas Dion remains fatally injured. In order to save him, Chappie takes him to the company workshop to acquire a new neural helmet to copy Dion's consciousness into a robot, as his own helmet was destroyed by Vincent's robot. As soon as he gets into the building, Chappie sees Vincent, who starts attacking them immediately. He instantly realizes that Vincent is the man who was responsible for these incidents and chases him through the building. Bullets do not work on Chappie, so Vincent is left entirely at his mercy. If only he had an adamantium skeleton and accelerated healing. He is beaten until he is half dead. Only then Chappie is satisfied enough to return to Dion. He quickly puts on the neural helmet over his head and begins the process to copy his consciousness over to a spare robot inside the workshop. The procedure is successful as the previously unmoving robot comes to life. Dion is astonished by his new mechanical body, but they have no time to waste. The authorities are just outside the door and they could break in at any moment. After getting Dion a new body, Chappie has no concerns about his own approaching death. But Dion is not ready to give up on him so easily. As he worriedly paces around, he is suddenly struck with an idea. There are many disabled robot AIs around the city, so he instructs Chappie to put on the helmet and successfully extracts his consciousness into another robot nearby. By the time the police manage to enter the workshop, Dion is long gone. He flees along with Chappie in their new bodies. Back at the hideout, Ninja is in the process of mourning Yolandi when he comes across a flash drive labeled Mommy Consciousness. He realizes that it is a copy of her consciousness extracted by Chappie previously as a test. All hope is not lost. Dion, Chappie, and Ninja reunite to bury her body, but it is just a new beginning for her. The movie ends as South Africa now rejects the use of robot AIs and their manufacturing is halted indefinitely. Chappie takes advantage of this to hack onto the robot manufacturing factory and starts building a brand new robot for Yolandi. And that's a wrap for this movie recap. Thanks for watching.